How's it going, everybody? So, I woke up this morning and I looked at my phone, read a couple of notifications and stuff on recent YouTube videos, and I just wanted to go ahead and start a small coffee table discussion about a couple of things just because it's a lot easier for me to go ahead and do that rather than go through every one of these comments and kind of put a long-winded explanation for it as I had already been doing, which, I don't know, it's just, I'm going to go ahead and just make a video going ahead and explaining a couple of things with the most recent upload that I had done. I know the video before that I did a couple of lengthy responses to things, and it sounds like I'm aggravated, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to get to and come to a level of understanding from both ends of the fence here with things, so without further ado, let's just go forward into the fucking meat of what I'm trying to talk about here. I got a number of responses on that video, specifically about this right here, this thing, and my saltiness and complaining about it, so let's just go ahead and explore that, shall we? To begin, I just want everybody to be on the same footing here to understand that I'm still trying to, make videos and cut and trim things. The session that I did yesterday for the Library of Ruina was about 2 to 3 hours, and then I trimmed it down into 2 40-minute videos, I believe, something of the sort. I tried to make it into 3 videos, but I didn't want to cut it into 3 separate videos, so I just made them lengthy because I know that you guys don't really care that much, so I understand if you guys missed a part or two of that, that's fine. I don't expect anybody to pay complete and absolute attention to me and everything that is going on in these videos for 40 minutes straight. That's kind of insane, but regardless, those are the corners that I need to cut in order to be able to make these videos. I'm not going to keep the whole 3-hour session into it, and I cut out a large amount of my complaining about specifically not being able to click on Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenaries attack dice so that I could initiate a clash, essentially. That's the real explanation to it. If you guys are not aware of what I'm talking about, in the most recent video, I was complaining for a while about how I couldn't click on her in any way, shape, or form to be able to counter her mass attack dice. So we're going to go into mass attack dice today, and it's going to sound awfully familiar to another video that I have already done, because this same chat and the same thing has happened in the past, but only with speed dice before, so let's just go over again and just go through this and just bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple of different things off the fucking fly. And again, I'm not mad and aggravated. I understand that you guys are doing this specifically to help me out and to, get me to understand things so that I'm not as salty about it. And that's fine. I'm not mad about that in any way, shape, or form. But I just want everybody to have the same level of understanding of where I am at, specifically with mass attack pages. So like I said, I trimmed out a lot of the things in the last episode regarding the Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary fight, specifically when I was complaining about not being able to target her. This means that you guys were unable to see the points, unless it was still in there but kind of roughly shown, over when I realized that all you really need to do is kind of just mouse wheel and scroll in to be able to click on the dice. That is a really janky way to be able to target her anyway, but regardless, that's not even the point here. The other thing that I had realized in this fight very specifically, I didn't know until this very specific fight, is that mass attack pages do not need to target where the source of the mass attack is to be able to roll your dice to defend against them. I didn't know that until the Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary fight, in any way, shape, or form. I did not know this. The reason I did not know this is, again, the same exact thing which happened with 2 speed dice. I love Project Moon to death, but one thing that they really struggle on, and I know that they try to make some of these things really nebulous so that you have to figure them out on the fly. They don't like to perfectly spoon-feed everything to you. But Project Moon is not at all the best at conveying mechanics that you need to have a good grasp and understanding of, especially in this game, to be able to have any agency over the shit that they're throwing at you. They love to introduce new mechanics on the fly out of nowhere and tell you absolutely fucking batshit nothing about their fine mechanics whatsoever. This is the same thing with mass attack pages. Let's just remember that for the entirety of the game, you are very much expected to have the general knowledge of if somebody is attacking you with a page, and you do not have a page that targets that speed dice in response, then it is a one-sided attack. That is something that you are just generally taught from the very beginning, the very get-go of the game. It takes a little while to understand that concept, but that is something that just sticks with you from the very beginning of the game, and it never changes. This completely turns that on its head, which is why I didn't understand it, which is why I wanted to target Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary, even though you don't need to. So, that all originally just stemmed from a misunderstanding of the mass attack pages, which I understood by the end of the Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary fight. Dear God, if I have to say that one more time, I am going to completely just lose my shit. Okay, so, now that's done, we got that one out of the way. Good. Alright? All of that stemmed from a misunderstanding of mass attack pages and how they function. And I do appreciate everybody who tried to walk me through that in the most recent episode. Again, I'm not upset at you guys. Now let's go ahead and explore into this just a little bit more and why I was so salty about it. Another thing that has popped up in the last 2 episodes or so, I would say as well, is I want you guys to remember that when I am really chastising this game, when I'm really digging into it, when I'm trying to look at it and criticize the things that I see about it, I'm trying to criticize the Library of Ruina more specifically as a game. Now, I know that's very unfair to the game because of the fact that it's not just a game. In fact, most of it is a lot more focused on the narrative and being able to utilize that in the video game space. They are utilizing the biggest strength that we have in video games in terms of actually allowing the player to feel like they are in that space via the mechanics that would only be present in a video game. I'm well aware of that. That is the biggest strength that Project Moon has with their games. This is why we love their games. Okay? But understand that whenever that I am trying to pull things apart, whenever that I don't like a certain mechanic about the game, I am looking at it from the ground mechanical level. I'm well aware that there is a narrative side to it, though. And I'd like to give it leeway whenever that I can with that for that reasoning. If it doesn't make sense narratively or whatever the case is, whatever. It's no big deal. That being said, let's go ahead and just explore again not being able to target the fucking Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary. This annoys me. This absolutely should annoy everybody here who has tried this. Again, this is literally only because of a misunderstanding of mass attack pages. You never need to attack her, but there are so many other ways that they can do this if this happens to be an intentional thing. I don't think it's intentional, because I think that a lot of times when Project Moon does things, they're looking at it from their perspective of, okay, this is the way that it's intended to go through, and they don't try out other circumstances and other things. They don't playtest it. That's not really their job necessarily to playtest it, though, because that's why it's in early access. We are here to playtest it. This is why I call these things out. I feel like it is my job to go ahead and say that, especially as a content creator with an audience, to get that circulating and to get you guys talking about it, things that I think are problems with the game. This is a problem with the game, whether or not that you are intended to do that. Let's say that they happen to do a fight later on down the line where you have enemies behind you, where you, I don't know, maybe there's a way that you're supposed to escape by attacking the people that are behind you or something. You guys realize you can't do that because the passives bar is in your fucking way, right? That's a problem, not being able to target her. And let's say that you have a strategy where, I don't know if there's an all defense die page or anything like that though, but let's just say for the fuck of it, guys, that you have a strategy to counter her pages, but you can't click on her to do so, where you're not doing any damage to Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary, and that's part of your strategy to do it. You now have to jump through hoops to be able to click on her in the first place to fucking do that, which is absolutely asinine. This is a literal, just raw mechanical problem with the fight. And despite what anybody may say about it, being able to scroll in and zoom in to be able to click on her is not a fix. That's not a fix at all. You are going out of your way to do something that could be very easily fixed by just having a minimize tab on your passives bar so that you can now click on her. Or better yet, another thing that they can do is they can just add in a different color speed dice that is supposed to represent non-targetable enemies, so that you can't target Little Red Riding Hooded Mercenary. this could actually serve as a really good boss fight to teach the player the mechanics of the mass attack page without you actually even knowing about it. The only reason why I knew that you could even counter a mass attack page without actually initiating a clash with the page was because I didn't feel like fucking finagling with the scroll wheel to be able to click on her again to be able to do it. Then I realized that my characters were rolling their pages and still doing their attack to the big bad wolf afterwards. That's the only reason why I figured that out. If you were to make it so that she had her own special speed dice color, like, I don't know, maybe a light green or something like that, that's supposed to represent that you can't target, you cannot clash with that enemy or with those speed dice, then it would force people to attack the big bad wolf and then have to pay attention that they're rolling dice from that speed dice that it's attacking, and then there you go. Like, that's such an easy, innovative fix, no? Does that not sound better? It can actually serve as a teaching mechanic to mass attack pages without having to put it into the guide. I just thought about that now while I was just thinking about it on the fly, too. And I'm sure Project Moon can come up with better if they really wanted to think about it some more. So anyway, TLDR of everything here, I really hope that they fix that to some way, shape, or form in the future. I know that they have a lot of shit that they're trying to do. They're probably more focusing on trying to get a full game out first before polishing all of the fights, but as far as I'm concerned, like, that's incredibly annoying and should be looked into to have some kind of a small quality of life change to it. I don't care if it's just clicking and dragging the field to the left and the right so that you can slide the camera, minimizing passives, I don't know, something. And if anybody thinks that this is actually, like, 100% intentional to de-incentivize you from attacking the Little Red Riding Hood mercenary for whatever reason, I just want to also point out here, before that winds up becoming a thing, that's a really shitty way to design a game, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it really is. That's a very poor way to do it. That'd be like trying to de-incentivize the player from using physical damage on a boss by making it so that it blacks out your screen and you can't see anything for 30 seconds. Just annoying the player into using magic damage. Like, that's so stupid, when the obvious fix to do that would just be to make it so that they take much less damage from physical damage. You design your mechanics around the things that you want to incentivize and de-incentivize. You don't annoy people into doing the right thing. It's a poor way to design a game, because it just feels like nagging at that point, and nobody likes being nagged at, really. So, that being said, though, before I fly off the deep end here, I don't think that that's the case in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. That's kind of just a straw man argument, and I'll go ahead and I'll put my hands up right here and say that there, okay? You got me. That's basically a straw man. I'm not going to argue any further against it, because it's pointless. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just wrap up the video here, guys. Thank you for attending my soapbox meeting with coffee, and I will see you guys in the next episode. And just as one more, just last point as well, to just understand that I do still love the game. I absolutely do, and I think it's a magnificent step up from the last. Do remember that with being able to improve and make yourself better, I can pretty much guarantee you that at least some portion of that is because of the feedback that we give them, the things that we talk about and that we bring to their attention. I doubt that that plays a significant role in a lot of the changes, but I can pretty much guarantee you that some of the balancing that has happened in the Library of Ruina and the changes that have happened are in part because of content creators, or at least the community in general, giving them feedback about things that are broken, things that don't work. Again, the game is in early access, and that is essentially our call to arms there, where we're supposed to be pulling these things apart, okay? So, yes. Again, I'm not mad at anybody here in any way, shape, or form, and I would hope that I go full circle with that with you guys, where you're not mad at me because I get upset about mechanics and stuff that don't, at least in my mind at the time, don't appear to work properly when I am going through it. It's just mildly aggravating, which adds on to the already frustration of the game, where it's pretty fucking difficult to get things done, and quite a bit RNG based, but you know what? It is what it is, and I'm still playing the game, am I not? So, alright, we'll see you guys later. Take it easy.